All right, welcome to Angling Wisdom. I'm glad you came back for another episode, and I've got a special treat for you today. We're going to talk about the Wyoming Master Angler Program, so stick around and learn all about it. Welcome to the Angling Wisdom Podcast, the freshwater fishing podcast for multi-species anglers.
I've known Patrick for quite a few years, and there are a lot of people out there. It's an ego-driven industry that's all about them. To find somebody that really wants to go find anglers for all different species, to bring them in, to give everybody a voice. This is the difference between what Patrick's doing and a lot of other shows. Is there's only a special few out there.
I have a very special guest all the way from Wapiti, Wyoming.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jim Zumbo. It's nice to actually spend 2.5 days fishing.
With a master angler like you, are you kidding me? This is a real treat.
Get ready for the culmination of angling wisdom and fun. I'm your host, Patrick Edwards, and this is the Angling Wisdom Podcast.
All right, so we're here today to talk about the Wyoming Master Angler Program. So if you live in Wyoming or you're from outside Wyoming, I've got a really cool program to talk to you about. Several years ago now, the Wyoming Game and Fish Department decided to start a Master Angler Program. Now, the reason to start a Master Angler Program is several reasons. Number one, it's fun, right? Like anglers want to have some kind of a goal, something to push themselves, something to make them fish harder, fish for different things, and hopefully catch a bigger fish than they've ever caught before. So the Master Angler Program definitely does that. It also promotes conservation. So you learn a lot about different kinds of fish species, how to catch them, how to take care of them, those kinds of things. And I think the other thing too is it encourages people to travel around the state and try new things, which is fantastic. Master Angler programs are great. My kids really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. I've been doing it for several years now. I've got a whole bunch of these. So these are what you get when you get a different species. So you get like a sticker and it has the species name on it. So I've got a whole bunch of these, and there's different levels. So this is kind of the first level is you become a master angler at whatever species. Say you catch a 20-inch rainbow trout. You're going to get a master angler sticker that says rainbow trout, just like that one. So it's fun because you actually get something. You get a letter in the mail, you get a sticker, and you get to say, hey man, I caught a master angler, which is kind of fun. But what's really cool is when you get to 5, you get this really awesome coin that I've got here. This is the trophy angler status. So you get a trophy angler coin when you get to 5 species. Getting to 5 can be harder than you think as well. Some of these species are kind of hard to get. So I'll talk a little bit about how to get there and how to get multiple species, but the coin is really cool. So when you get to 5, that's what you get there. Then when you get to 10, you get this guy. So this is a plaque, and this is called the Ultimate Angler. I have one of these. I'm definitely shooting for number 2, and I have a lot of friends that are also trying to get their second one as well. And it lists out the different fish that you caught when you received the plaque, and you just keep fishing for them and just keep going after it and try to get one of these, which is fantastic. So those are kind of the 3 levels of the Master Angler Program. And you're probably wondering, like, what are the different species that I can go after? Well, as of right now, the Wyoming Game and Fish has 24 eligible species. So I'm going to read through them, and I'm going to read through what the length requirements are. And by the way, Game and Fish on your 2025 regs, you left out golden trout, but that's okay. But these are listed in your regulation book, and you need to read this. You need to know what the rules are for the different bodies of water that you're fishing. So pick up your 2025 regs. Just note that in the list, golden trout is not in there, but it is one of the eligible species. So, all right, I'm going to take you through. So probably the easiest one to get is the rainbow trout at 20 inches. Then there's brown trout at 23 inches, brook trout at 16 inches, golden trout at 16 inches, cutthroat trout at 18 inches, lake trout at 36 inches, splake 20 inches, tiger trout 23 inches, whitefish 16 inches, grayling 16 inches, kokanee salmon 20 inches, Northern pike, 36 inches. Tiger muskie, 38 inches. Largemouth bass, 16 inches. Smallmouth bass, 16 inches. Walleye, 23 inches. Sauger, 23 inches. Channel catfish, 28 inches. Burbot, 28 inches. Shovel-nosed sturgeon, 32 inches. Yellow perch, 12 inches. Sunfish, 8 inches. Crappie, 12 inches. And freshwater drum, 22 inches. So those are the approved 24 species that you can go after. Now I want to talk about these just a little bit. Depending on what part of Wyoming you may live in or what part of Wyoming you're visiting, these can be a lot more challenging than other parts of the state. I happen to live in a great part of the state, right in the center. I have access to almost all of these. With a few exceptions, I don't have smallmouth bass real close by. I also don't have shovel-nosed sturgeon super close, but they're not super far away either. But I have pretty much everything else on this list within, an hour or so. So, like I said, probably one of the easiest ones to get on here is the rainbow trout at 20 inches. Like if you go to several of the reservoirs around the state, the bigger reservoirs that are stocked regularly with rainbow trout, you can get it done. Like if you live in the southern part of the state and you go to Seminole, it won't take you super long. I wouldn't imagine Pathfinder, Alcova, anything along that drainage. You're probably going to catch them pretty quick.
Fellow anglers, it's time to up your game with PK Lures, crafted to help you catch the fish of your dreams. Whether it's the classic PK spoon, the flutterfish, or the reliable PK Ridgeline crankbait, PK Lures has the perfect lure for any fishing scenario. No matter if you're fishing on the ice or in open water, PK Lures has a wide range of lure options to help you catch walleye, trout, panfish, and more. These aren't just lures, they're proven performers. Designed by Master Angler Pat O'Grady and tested by some of the best anglers in the world, they are trusted for results. From the hard water to open lakes and rivers, PK Lures delivers. Find your perfect lure today at pklure.com and use the code WISDOM for 20% off of your order.
Same with Boysen and Wind River area. Pretty easy to do. I would say on the other end of the spectrum, the hardest one, in my opinion, is the golden trout, because you've got to hike really far in typically to get to these fish, and they are a stubborn species to get to bite. I mean, I've caught goldens in my life, but I've never got the 16-incher. So I'm going to try to get that done this year. But those ones are pretty tough to catch. The tiger trout at 23 inches is pretty hard. Shovel-nosed sturgeon, there's only a few places you can get them, and a 32-incher can be a challenge. I haven't even caught one yet. So that's on my list of ones to get done. Some of the other, in my opinion, some of the other more attainable ones is like the cutthroat trout at 18 inches. If you go to the northwest part of the state and you fish for the Snake River, Yellowstone cuts, and a lot of those bodies of water, especially the bigger ones, you're going to be able to find an 18-inch cutthroat. So that one's not terribly difficult. If you go to Flaming Gorge, you can get your kokanee salmon. There's lots of 20-inchers in there. And then lake trout's a little bit harder, like a 36-incher. If you know what you're doing, it's not very hard. Some of you are probably like, it's not that hard. Well, I don't fish for lake trout all the time, so it's a little harder for me, and where I'm at, I don't have access to as many. There are some bodies of water around here, definitely with big ones in it. Apparently, I'm not very good at catching the big lake trout, but 36 inches on that one. One that I think is ridiculously hard, which is close to me, is the sauger at 23 inches. I finally got it done this last year, but it was a real challenge. Tiger muskies, very difficult just because they can be really hard to get to bite. You can do 10, 15, 20 trips and not catch a single one. So tiger muskie, I would put up in the probably top 3 of the hardest ones to get. And a 38-incher is a pretty good size. That's a whopper tiger muskie, and you're going to have a fight on your hands when you catch that fish. Grayling and whitefish can be challenging at times. Grayling, there's only a few places and you got to know where they're at. So I would give you this advice, and I'm not going to blow up any spots or anything, but the Game and Fish website does have really good information on which bodies of water they stock for different species. You can look at their stocking reports, and you can kind of figure out like, okay, well, this body of water has been stocked for the last 5-6 years. it's probably a good bet that I can find a master angler fish in there. They also have sampling reports that you can look at just to kind of see, are there big fish in there when they set their gill nets? I don't know, but it's something to look at.
For me, fishing isn't just a hobby, it's a way of life. And every angler deserves a rod as unique as their journey. That's where TB Custom Rods comes in. Handcrafted custom fishing rods built to your exact specifications. Perfectly balanced and tailored to your style. Work with Trapper and choose your design, select your components, and feel the difference of a rod made just for you. Visit tbcustomrods.com to get started on your custom rod today.
And Game of Fish, if you are watching, I do have some suggestions as an angler who's been doing this for several years, because I think that we can improve the program just a little bit. So I'm going to just give some of my suggestions. I think we ought to have an even rounded out 30. That way somebody can get 3 plaques. And I would propose a couple of different options. The first option being, let's add some rough fish to this. Why not? Rough fish, meaning carp, suckers, those kind of things. And the reason I say that is there's a different dynamic in catching those species as opposed to trout. And now I know they're not as popular, but that doesn't take away from the fact that they are fish and they get big. Like carp get huge, grass carp get huge. So I would say top 2 you should add are the common carp, because they're everywhere. So there's a lot of access. It's really great for anybody that lives anywhere in the state. If they have access to water, they probably got access to common carp. And so that one you could set at like 30 inches, just as an example. Grass carp. The Game of Fish has been stocking grass carp all over the state. Some of them are gigantic. I mean, they are huge. So grass carp would be a real challenge. They're really wary. They're really smart. Same with common carp, by the way. So those could be a challenge to get. The white sucker, they're plentiful. They're all over the state. The red horse sucker, also a lot of places, a lot of drainages. Long nose suckers are just about everywhere. And the black bullhead. I mean, the bullhead should be on there. Now, granted, it's going to be another one of those little fish, kind of like the sunfish or the crappie. You know, the length isn't going to be that long. But again, it's another challenge. It's something to push anglers to catch something different than what they would normally go after. So I would say add those 6. You've got your 30. Another option could be you could take the cutthroat. You could split it out. You could have your Colorado, your Bonneville, your Yellowstone, and your snake. So you could do that to add some to the list and kind of split them out and give people a challenge. They could go after their cut slam along with the Master Angler Program. Another thing you could do, like right now you have sunfish as a category. You could break that out. You could have something for pumpkin seeds, which are pretty darn small, and there's not a lot of places you can find them, but little tiny pumpkin seeds. You could have bluegill, green sunfish, just kind of split those all out. Another one you could add is a rock bass. I mean, there's lots of different options that we could do to get to a rounded number of 30. And I also appreciate the fact that managing the program is probably kind of a nightmare because you get lots of submissions, and then you have the administrative piece of sending out all the stickers, coins, plaques, all the things. But I think it would just add a little bit more to the program. And rough fish, especially, like, they get no love. And so it'd be kind of cool to have people actually going out there trying to catch them and getting the experience of, like, how do I catch these rough fish? Like, what makes a rough fish different than, the kokanee salmon, the trout, the pike, those kind of things. So it might be a way to do it. Another couple of ideas that I had is, so doing this program for the last several years, one thing that I've noticed is, like, the walleye size is way too easy. Like a 23-inch walleye is way too small in my opinion. So I was thinking, how do you make it a real challenge? Like it's a truly master angler fish. And I think in Wyoming, you could say a 28-inch and bigger walleye is truly a master angler fish. I mean, it takes a lot of time for most people to catch a 28-inch walleye. Same thing with rainbow, like 20 inches, pretty attainable just about anywhere in the state. I would say bump that up to 23. 23 is a lot more challenging, or even 24. When you catch a rainbow that big, you've done something. Like, and that fish will fight you pretty hard. So that might be an option for rainbow trout. Cutthroat trout, I would push it from 18 to 20 inches. I think that there are plenty of cutthroat around the state that are 20 inches and up. I've got one up on the wall you can't see, but it's like 23. Like there's several places you can get really nice cutthroat. Also, the kokanee at 20 inches, it's not that big of a koke. You know, if you had one that was like 22, 23 inches, I think that really puts you in like a master angler category, or even 21 inches, somewhere in there, just to make it a little bit more difficult. The brook trout too, being 16 inches is a little bit short in my opinion. I think you could easily bump that one up to 18 inches. And I know I'm probably going to get some hate from people saying, don't make them any bigger, but I really think that that would be more a master angler fish for those species, and a little bit more challenging, which is more fun for me as an angler. The sauger one, I got to tell you, this is the only one where I'm like, 23-inch sauger is really tough. Like, there's very few places you can find them. There's very limited access, especially on the Wind River drainage. And so I would say, you know, bump that one from 23 down to 21. You catch a 21-inch sauger, being the small cousin of the walleye, you've done something special. Like sauger over 20 inches, you've done something. Or even 22, but 23 is really, really tough, like really hard. And there might be some guys out there that are just way better at catching sauger than me, that catch lots of them over 23 inches. You can give me all the hate you want. But for me, that's been my experience. It's pretty tough to get that 23-incher. But
whether you're deep in the backcountry or gearing up for your next hunt, Kifaru has your back, quite literally. As someone who has broken their back twice, I can speak to the unparalleled performance of the Kifaru packs and frames. From their industry-leading backpacks built for extreme durability to ultralight shelters that withstand the punishing elements, Kifaru gear is engineered for those who demand the best. Customizable, rugged, and made right here in the USA, Kifaru is trusted by hunters, hikers, and explorers who refuse to compromise. Visit Kifaru.net and discover why Kifaru is the ultimate name in outdoor adventure.
But I mean, there's a lot of fantastic opportunities in the Master Angler program. And so I just want to talk about a little bit of that just from my personal experience. My daughter, Faith, she got her trophy angler, so the coin, by the time she was like 10 or 11 years old. And talk about just like bragging rights for a kid. And I mean, she caught some amazing fish. She's just really good at catching big fish for whatever reason. Pretty much anytime I take her fishing, she's usually got the big fish. And so getting kids involved and having a kid get something in the mail from the Game and Fish department that's like, you're a master angler, you know, having a letter from the head of fisheries and getting this sticker means a lot to a kid. So I can't tell you guys enough, like just how much of a motivator that is for a lot of kids and a lot of adults. But I think it's a fantastic program. I remember it's probably been 20 years ago now. My fishing mentor and I, we were talking about the In-Fisherman Master Angler Program, which is also a fantastic program. And those lengths are much bigger. Like the walleye for that, you got to catch, you know, a 30-inch walleye. And their sauger is 21 inches, by the way, for master anglers. So again, I think that's more appropriate. But you know, it's hard to do, and it's really motivating. If you have a goal for yourself that you want to catch, you know, several different species of master angler and you want them to be bigger, the In-Fisherman Master Angler Program is also a great option. But it just pushes you to want to do more. But anyway, we were looking at the In-Fisherman Master Angler Program. And we're like, man, how cool would it be if the state of Wyoming would do that and just give out some recognition to people as they go through the program. And my fishing mentor, some of you have heard the episode I did on him before. He passed away in 2022. But at that time, he almost had enough for 2 plaques. He was at 19 master angler catches, different species. So he was almost at that 2 plaque level. And then he passed away from cancer. But he was extremely motivated by that because it gave him, you know, being somebody who's really sick with cancer, it gave him something additional to live for. He was like, you know, I really want to catch all 24. That was his goal. And so I remember he drove up and went sturgeon fishing, like, I don't even know how many times, just trying to get that before he died. And he did do it. And it's things like that that I think you can't overlook with a program like this, that it's really special for a lot of people. And so I'm just really grateful to the Wyoming Game and Fish Department for having this program. If you haven't participated in the program, again, if you buy a fishing license in Wyoming and they have the regulation book, you can just pull it up and get all the different size requirements. It'll tell you where to go on their website to submit for your master angler catch. And you just have to follow the rules. Bring a tape along. Make sure you have a good tape measure that's easy to read. Get a picture of the fish on the tape. Get a picture of the fish in your hands and share it on their website when you submit your catch. You do need your sports person ID when you set up your account. It's really easy to do. And it's really cool because when you submit your catch, it'll tell you like the status. So it has to be reviewed by a fisheries person, and then they either approve or deny your catch that you put forward. But then you can see like a list of like when you caught all these fish, and you can look at the different bodies of water that you caught it on. Also, they have a public facing site that lists different folks with their master angler catches. So if you're like, where are people catching these master angler size fish? You can go look at the Wyoming Game and Fish's website and see where people were catching those fish. So it's a lot of fun. It's something that I think everybody should do. If you're going out on the body of water and there's a chance you might catch one, pull out your phone, have that ready so you can take a picture, make sure you take a tape, and just have a good time. But especially get kids involved in this, because I think it's a really great way to engage the youth across the state of Wyoming and across the country. Nebraska has a Master Angler Program as well. I participated in that one. So there's lots of great opportunities out there, and it's always good to push yourself to catch new species that you've never caught before and actually put some effort in, instead of going fishing for the same thing all the time. Expand your horizons, try something different. Take a backpacking trip up into the winds and go catch your master angler, golden trout or grayling or whatever it may be. Go take a trip out on the Wind River to catch a giant brown, or down by Seminole or on the Miracle Mile. Like, there's lots of different opportunities around the state, and I just hope you get out there and do it. You can tell I'm passionate about it. It's so much fun. So hopefully this has been informative for you. If you have questions or comments, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I would love to hear back from you on this episode. But again, until next time, just be safe, have fun out there on the water, and I'll see you on the next episode.
Angling Wisdom has been brought to you by TB Custom Rods, Kufaru, and PK Lures. Don't forget to subscribe to Angling Wisdom on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts so you don't miss any of our new episodes. Also, go to anglingwisdom.com for more fishing content. Until next time, I'll see you out on the water.